Good morning. I was walking a while ago before sunrise, and there's this beautiful, beautiful full moon in an open, cloudless, clear sky this morning here, and was walking down the road in the direction towards the moon, and there was the moon, just beautiful. And then in another part of the walk, I was walking the other direction, and there came the beginnings of the first light. The sun had not risen yet, and there was the color in the sky of the coming sun. And the beauty of all of this caught me. And so here we are, I'm pondering. We, these little embodied creatures walking around on the surface of our planet, and there's the sun and there's the moon, and it was just captivating. Anyway, for unknown reason, I'm not making a big deal out of this, for unknown reason, it caused me to ponder about levels of consciousness. And I remembered Swami Rama saying, when your whole life becomes one of meditation, yoga nidra comes naturally. Yoga nidra was not something that initially came easy for me. Yoga nidra, what is yoga nidra? Yoga nidra is a level of consciousness. This was the relationship to the sun and the moon and the earth that I was experiencing, was it reminded me of levels of consciousness. The waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, the Vaishvanar, Tejasa, Prajna, and Turiya that are mapped out by the Om mantra. And Yoga Nidra simply means conscious deep sleep. It's amazing to me sometimes, regularly I will get an email from a person. My Yoga Nidra article is highly visible on internet, and some years ago I made a recording and published a CD recording of a guided Yoga Nidra that is to this day the most popular such thing in the world. And so I get emails from people, and it's sort of amazing to me, I do understand it, that from time to time, this happened a few days ago, I get an email from a person questioning Yoga Nidra, and will say something like, one of these days I'm looking forward to actually experiencing Nidra. And there seems to be a reluctance sometimes to even call it Yoga Nidra, as if we want to have it not be about yoga. And Nidra simply means deep sleep. It means dreamless sleep. So I always end up having to write back, say, well, you're already doing Nidra, you're just not doing it as a yogi. How does a yogi do deep sleep? Answer, consciously, with awareness. We're in the waking state, we're using our mind, we're using our cognitive senses, we're using our motor skills, we're moving around here and there. We're doing that. When we're laying in bed and we're having a dream, we're not using our physical body to do the moving around or the talking, but in our mind we're talking in the dream, we're seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, hearing in the dream, and we're moving around in the dream. We're doing activities. So all of those are used. When we listen to our common language, when we fall asleep, when we fall into deep sleep, what happens to all those motor skills? They stop. What happens to our talking mind? The talking stops. What happens to our cognitive senses? They cease. And yet what the yogi is doing is remaining awake, paradoxically. It makes no sense to our waking state conscious mind that I can be in deep sleep and still conscious. I remember struggling with the methods that Swami Rama had given us on how to enter a state of deep sleep. It included, part of it included 61 points moving through the body in a particular kind of way. I struggled greatly with trying to memorize. I remember I'd lay on my back, I'd have a book or a sheet of paper with these points, and it'd lay on my chest, and I'd try to remember where the next one was, and I'd look like that, and then I'd put it back down. And I worked very hard at this. And because of seeing how difficult it was just to memorize these stupid 61 points, I started to have a sense of compassion for people for the difficulty of doing this stuff. The only reason I was doing it is one day I was walking down the hall, crossed paths with Swami Rama, and he said in a strong voice to me, "You should do Yoga Nidra." And I was avoiding it because I couldn't see any value in falling asleep. I was completely, totally wrong. I missed the point. One morning, I was living in one of Swamiji's ashrams, and one morning, this was in the early 1990s, or late 1980s, anyway, there was a tap on my door, and there was this sort of older fella. He was a maintenance kind of guy. He fixed everything. He was never, to my knowledge, he never was on the teaching faculty. He never went into a classroom with seminars and taught classes. He was just the maintenance guy that was quietly on the sidelines doing the practices. And people thought of him, frankly, as a kind of oddball. Anyway, there's a tap on my door. I open the door, and there he is standing in the hall, looks at me, says only these words, didn't say hello, didn't say good morning. He said, "You know, all you got to do is fall asleep and stay awake. All you got to do is fall asleep and stay awake," he said to me. And I went something like, you know. And this was early morning, and he turned around and walked back down the hall to his room. And it was striking. His comment, as it turned out, was profound. It was somewhat similar to Swami Rama's comment, not exactly, but compatible, that says, once your whole life becomes one of meditation, Yoga Nidra will come naturally. Yoga Nidra is not a technique. It is not 61 points or any other exercises. These are methods, when we're amateurs at this stuff, these are methods to lead us towards the experience of the state of conscious deep sleep. How does a yogi sleep? Answer, consciously. These are methods that help us get there. But over time, we gradually come to the point where it's easy to enter into conscious deep sleep, Yoga Nidra. It doesn't come quickly, I don't think. Maybe it will for you, maybe it has for you, does for you. But it really is true with practice over time, particularly with paying attention constantly. Another memory I have is of walking with Swami Rama, and he said to me rather clearly and abruptly, it was a shock to me, he said, "Witness everything, witness everything." And that was that principle of whole life becoming meditation. Anyway, this is what my morning was like. The sun, the moon, and pondering of Yoga Nidra. And then we started our day with some mantras here in the ashram, and just started doing a few asanas. And then I found this intriguing draw to just go to Yoga Nidra. And it's gotten easy. And so I guess that's part of what I'm wanting to say to you, that this can let your whole life become one of meditation. Constant awareness of everything that you're doing. Awareness of the levels of consciousness. I know that we study books and gain knowledge like that so that we have the information about how these levels of consciousness operate. But then we observe that, just observe it right in the middle of life. You don't have to set time aside for that, just right in the middle of life. Observe everything, witness everything, as Ramaji said to me. And gradually, Yoga Nidra comes easier, whether you're using a technique, CD, or not, or laying on your back, doing 61 points, or Sushumna Kriya, breathing with awareness and mantra up and down the spine. And then in a moment you we say, common language, we fall asleep. Except here, all of a sudden, you fall into Yoga Nidra. And what's going on? Your mind is quiet. Your senses are not doing anything. There's object-less awareness. It is very, very close to Samadhi or Turiya. It's not quite there, but it's very, very close. And this is something that is attainable, can be experienced by literally every one of us. It's very, very, very insightful. So just pay attention to everything. Enjoy having good meditation times, and enjoy life, enjoy the moon, enjoy the sun, enjoy taking walks. And Yoga Nidra will come. All of these levels of consciousness come. So thank you for visiting. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for listening. Play with this stuff, okay? Play. Enjoy. Enjoy life, as the boss told me one time. That's a whole other story. Enjoy life. And remember, it's all about Om. Om Tat Sat. Om is the roadmap. Okay? Bye-bye.